Hello and welcome to Horse Sense, your show for all the top racing action in Singapore and around the world.
It's halfway through the year and racing at the Singapore Turf Club is peaking with multiple Group 1 races going back to back. This week, it was the QE2 Cup. "15 runners entered the parade ring for the Group 1 QE2 Cup to be run over 1800 meters. Number 1 was the Bruce Marsh saddled War Affair, who brought them into the parade ring. Looking a picture, he was ridden by Danny Beasley, but would have to jump from draw 15. His last start victory in the Group 3 Sassfi Stakes over 1400 meters had him spot on for this one. Ricardo Lagrange fielded 4 from his yard, including Quechua, Stormtroops and Time Odyssey. Quechua would be ridden by Vlad Durick, and he was looking to improve from his 6th place in the Open Handicap on the 24th of February. Stormtroops with Naresh Juglal in the saddle was drawn 12 and had dead heated in the Group 3 Sassfi Stakes on the 14th of May. Time Odyssey had Baron Voster on board, and he was another who was coming off a victory in the Kranji Stakes A back on the 30th of April. Cliff Brown was another who had multiple runners, including Laughing Gravy, who would be ridden by Damien Brown, and Guilt Complex, who would have the services of Michael Rodd in the saddle. Stephen Gray was another who fielded multiple horses in this race. He had Twickenham, who would be ridden by Benny Woodworth, Bahana, who had Glenn Boss on his back, and Newlands, who would have the services of Schofield. The field also included 2 from David Cox Yard, Well Done, who would be ridden by Manuel Nunes, and Guru Guru, who had the apprentice CC Wong on his back. Over a trip, you can never not respect Takaoka's charges, and Jupiter Gold, who had run 2nd in the Singapore Guineas, would take his position against his more experienced rivals, with Alan Munro on his back. The field was rounded off by Nova Strike from Alwyn Tan's yard and Zippity Doodah from Leslie Coos. It wasn't long before the horses left the parade ring and made their way down to the start for the 1800 meters. They were soon locked and loaded and safely set away.
Quechua, who is a star in his own right. He's a Derby winner, he's a Gold Cup winner as well, and he's still out. Laughing Gravy, who won the race last year. I dare say plan A will be to try and sit forward on him, but he can be a little bit tardily away. He was tardily away, as we heard from Cliff Brown last time. Again, I think in the Gold Cup he was a little tardily away as well. So John Pepe to let them loose. And we're just about right to go. Jupiter Gold favourite at 17, but a host of chances in our best race of the season thus far. Set. Queen Elizabeth II Cup, they're away and racing now, and Jupiter Gold is back second last. Zippity Doodah is back in last as the field leave the stalls, and away nicely here is Twickenham up on the pace with Quechua. Laughing Gravy away nicely as well from Time Odyssey. Newlands out wide with a red cap. Then Stormtroops, Nova Strike relatively handy. So too Jupiter Gold, who's about 3 off the rails but going up in the first half of the field. Then Perfect P, Guilt Complex in the green, just getting shuffled back with also Zippity Doodah and Guru Guru. About 2 lengths away then to Bahana a long way back with Well Done, and War Affair from the wide stall is 3 lengths away, and he is back in last with 1200 metres to go, and Laughing Gravy, who won the race last year, leads out. He's got Newlands in the red cap moving up second on the outside of Twickenham, who's back in third. Further back behind those then to Time Odyssey and also Quechua. They're running 4th and 5th. Then Stormtroops tracking them. Nova Strike about a neck away on the inside from Perfect P. Jupiter Gold, the 3-year-old, in a handy position over near the rail. Zippity Doodah was further back. Behind those in turn then Guilt Complex, Bahana, Guru Guru, Well Done, and also War Affair. They're second last and last as they race up towards the turn in the QE2 Cup, and it's Laughing Gravy who leads out on the point of the turn. 600 metres to go. He's had a nice run. Twickenham second, Newlands third. Further back behind those, Time Odyssey with also Quechua. Then Stormtroops, who pulls out wide. Nova Strike next on the inside. Jupiter Gold, he goes for the whip. War Affair stays near the rails, and Well Done and Bahana, they're winding up out wide, running down with about 300 metres to go, and it's Laughing Gravy. Moving up on the outside is the old stage at Quechua, and running a race of Stormtroops as well, being followed further back by Twickenham, but it's Quechua who's grabbed the lead with about 150 metres to go. Storm Storm Troops. A few closing in. Gilt Complex with a run. It's Quechua in front, driven down to the wire here by Vlad Juric. What a horse he is. It's Quechua. Quechua who wins it. Quechua first, Laughing Gravy or Storm Troops second and third.
Sure, it hasn't settled in yet. But towards the end of last year, I said to Patrick, 2 races we haven't won, which is the Queen Elizabeth and the Raffles. I promise you I'll win them for you. So it's emotional, and this horse he's just a special horse. You know, doing a bit of work with him the last couple of months, change it up, put the blinkers on him, put the tongue tie on him, like I said in my pre-race interview, just to spark him up. And it's just an honor to be, you know, associated with horses like this, with owners like Mark and Emily and Glenn, and you know, to Pat for believing in me, you know, probably more than I believe in myself. Well, in Dubai, Patrick was there, and he said to me the one morning he heard him making a bit of a noise, try tongue tying him, and then we've always in the back of our minds thought about a pair of blinkers, but he was running so well, you know, winning Group 1 races, and I thought maybe just needed a little bit of a wake-up, and well, it's all come together now, and it's my first Group 1, and I'll never forget this one.
All the credit goes to Ricky's team and Jackie back at home. They just do a wonderful job with their horses, you know. And I've been riding him in his gallops leading up to today and in his trial the other day. And I'd never ridden him in a race before, but all the indications were that, you know, he's in really good touch. And once we drew a really good marble, I was just able to give him a nice ride and just need a little bit of luck, which I got on the corner. And he just always felt like he was going to win the race once he got out. So congratulations to Ricky. It's his first season since Pat's gone, and he said to me the other day that, you know, he promised Pat he'd win one of these feature races for him this year. So I'm sure Pat's sitting there with his feet up at home, and he'd be really chuffed.
It was Quechua who turned back the clock, winning this one from Laughing Gravy and his stablemate Storm Troops. Quechua, a son of Pure Prize, came home in a minute 46.64 seconds, taking his earnings to over $3 million for his owners, the Avengers stable. Quechua has now taken his record to 9 wins and 12 placings from 29 starts.
Queen Elizabeth II Cup, they're away and racing now. Jupiter Gold is back second last. Zippity Doodah is back in last as the field leave the stalls, and away nicely here is Twickenham up on the pace with Quechua. Laughing Gravy away nicely as well from Time Odyssey. Newlands out wide with a red cap. Then Storm Troops, Nova Strike relatively handy. So too Jupiter Gold, who's about 3 off the rails but going up in the first half of the field. Twickenham second, Newlands third. Further back behind those, Time Odyssey with also Quechua. Then Storm Troops who pulls out wide. Nova Strike next on the inside. Jupiter Gold, he goes for the whip. War Affair stays near the rails, and Well Done and Bahana, they're winding up out wide, running down with about 300 metres to go, and it's Laughing Gravy. Moving up on the outside is the old stage at Quechua, and running a race as Storm Troops as well, being followed further back by Twickenham, but it's Quechua who's grabbed the lead with about 150 metres to go. Storm Troops, a few closing in. Gilt Complex with a run. It's Quechua in front, driven down to the wire here by Vlad Juric. What a horse he is, it's Quechua.
I would now like to invite Ms. Claire Filshy to present the prizes for the Queen Elizabeth II Cup to the winning owner, Emily Wang, to step forward from the Avengers stable. Congratulations, Emily, a long-time owner with the Shaw and Lagrange team. And it picks up the spoils here with the Cup. Of course, the winning trainer of Quechua this afternoon, Ricardo Lagrange. Ricardo accepting the trophy here for the trainer, his first Group 1 in his own name here at the Singapore Turf Club. And, well, the jockey in the saddle doing all the work with Quechua today, it's Vlad Juric. Vlad stepping forward to accept the jockey's trophy from Claire. We'd also now like to present a bouquet of flowers to the Consular Regional Director of the British High Commission, Claire Filshy, and she accepts those flowers now. Our congratulations to all of the winners in the Queen Elizabeth II Cup Group 1 1800 metre feature here this afternoon at the Singapore Turf Club. Please join us for a group photograph.
A total of 8 runners entered the parade ring for the Group 2 Stewards Cup over 1400 meters on the 28th of May. Alibi from Michael Clements' yard was renewing his rivalry with Lim's Cruiser from Stephen Gray's. Alibi had run second to Lim's Cruiser and with Glenn Boss in the saddle was looking to go one better. Lim's Cruiser on that occasion had won the Group 1 Lion City Cup and he would return with the services of Danny Beasley in the saddle. The field also included infantry from Alvin Tan's yard who had won the JBB Moonbeam Waza Group 3 race over 1800 meters and was bringing form to this race that was doing him plenty of favors. He would have Manu Nunes on board. The brilliant Debt Collector from Cliff Brown's yard had run third in the Open Stakes on the 3rd of March. He was resuming with Michael Rod's safe hands to guide him home. Shane Bartschiger saddled Predator, while David Coe saddled the duo Battle of Troy and Oxbow's Son. The field was rounded off by Magnum from James Peters' yard. It wasn't long before the horses left the parade ring and were safely locked and loaded before the starter set them away.
Now they're set. $11 for Lim's Cruiser. First leg of the 4-year-old challenge. This, the 4-year-olds on their journey here over 1400 metres, and Debt Collector has gone back into last. Lim's Cruiser just ahead of him, back second last, and good pace coming from Alibi, so he's away much better today, and he's up on the outside of Oxbow's Son, and they share the lead with 1200 metres to go in the Stewards Cup. Predator can't lead, it's gone back third. Battle of Troy is fourth, then Infantry away fairly, he's up in fifth. A few lengths away then to Magnum, and the pace is fairly even, 1000 metres to go. Lim's Cruiser 2 lengths away, second last, and Debt Collector follows him as they go through the first 400 metres in 24.33, and the front runner here is Oxbow's Son for Wong. It's only a level tempo, 800 metres to go. He's got Alibi in a very handy position running second. He's one off the rails, and further back then Battle of Troy moving up 3 deep in third. Predator fourth on the leader's back, and then came Infantry. Lim's Cruiser out wide, Magnum and Debt Collector saved up back at the rear as the field in the Stewards Cup race around the final turn, and it's Oxbow's Son who leads out from Alibi. Predator looking for room, so too Infantry, then Battle of Troy out wide. Lim's Cruiser out deep, and also Debt Collector winding up. Magnum back in last as they race down with 300 metres to go, and it's Alibi who hit the front. Infantry the first to challenge. Debt Collector winding up. Lim's Cruiser coming with a burst as well. What a finish here. Alibi with a kick. Infantry and Debt Collector winding up with Lim's Cruiser. It is Alibi, Infantry. Alibi fighting hard the inside. He wants that feature and he's got it today. It's Alibi who wins the Stewards Cup. Alibi first, second Infantry, and Lim's Cruiser might be third from Debt Collector, and further back then to Predator, being followed in then by Battle of Troy, Oxbow's Son, and Magnum has run along last. There's no stopping Michael Clements, and it's Alibi. And what was so significant in that race, and this was his best chance to land a blow, I think.
He's jumped great from the barriers. He's just been going so good, this horse. His preparation coming to this race was fantastic. As I said earlier, he's a better horse, he's a stronger horse, he's a maturer horse. He was great in the paddock today. He was really settled down compared to his last 2 starts. And yeah, it's just a great effort from him, and we always thought he was going to come back good as a 4-year-old, and he's done exactly that. You know, the way he's gone today, we always thought a mile is absolutely no problem for him. He's certainly bred for it, and a credit to Glenn Boss today. You know, he said that's exactly how he's going to ride him in the paddock. It worked like clockwork, and he's ridden a great race.
He's a lovely little horse, you know. He's probably the smallest horse in the race, but he possesses one of the biggest hearts. So, you know, he ran very well the other day on the soft track, and as was highlighted, nothing went right for me the other day. He missed a start and got smashed up and ended up the couple of pairs back further than I wanted to. But to his credit, he was brave, and Lim's Cruiser beat me sort of decisively, but he beat me 2.5 lengths. But the margin wasn't a real indication of how far my horse should have got beat. He should have probably only got beat a neck, if anything, the other day. So, you know, the discrepancy with them in the market was probably wrong, because my horse was probably always going to be very hard to beat today. 7 furlongs, he's in good shape. Michael and Chopsy and the whole crew have done a true job with this little horse, and you know, at the end of the day, I think he really wanted that race. In a flurry come to me, but this horse dug and refused to be passed. So that, you know, it's just his will and his heart, and really wanted to get him over the line.
Alibi did indeed find his moment of retribution, even as the delighted Michael Clements looked on. The winner, Alibi, is by Darcy Brummer, and came home in a winning time of 1 minute 21.2 seconds. He's owned by the Alibi stable, and with this, his 6th win from 11 outings, his earnings have gone way past the $600,000 mark.
Now I'd like to invite Mr. Harry Elias to present the prizes for the Stewards Cup, won by Alibi to the Alibi stable, and the owner to come forward, Mr. Saifu Mawa Binendra, to step forward to accept the Stewards Cup. On behalf of the Alibi stable, who've had a terrific time of things recently, a few members involved with Funkadelic also on Friday night. The winning trainer to step forward, who's having a right old time of things at the moment, Michael Clements. Michael coming forward. He won with Tarnhauser earlier in the day, took out the Australian Turf Club trophy, and he takes home another trophy here this afternoon. And of course, piloted to success by jockey Glenn Boss to step forward. Glenn coming forward now. And he accepts the prize as the jockey. Our congratulations to all of the winners. A fantastic effort by Alibi to win the first leg of the 4-year-old series, the Group 2 Stewards Cup over the 1400 metres. Please join us for a group photograph on the stage.
And that's all we have time for on this episode of Horse Sense. We hope you really enjoyed it. Goodbye, and until we see you next time, may the horse be with you.